Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bhango Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Sri Gurun Dinatarinam Nindantam Pulakot Karena Bikasam Nipa Prasunachchavim Prodrikritva Bujadvayam Hari Hari Etut Chai Vedantam Muhu Nityantam Drutam Asru Nirjara Chaye Sinchantam Urvitalam Gayantam Nija Parasadaya Parivratam Sri Gaura Chandram Numa Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hemava Divyach Chavisundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat Maharaj. As you know, today is Purnima, Snan Yatra, the bathing ceremony of Sri Jagannath, and disappearance days of Srila Mukunda Datta and Srila Sridhar Pandit. And I believe our devotees would like to hear something.
Well, taking it that Sridhar Pandit is Kolavecha Sridhar, we spoke about him in our last talk. But with regard to Mukunda Datta, told he's the younger brother of Vasudev Datta. So if we recall Vasudev Datta, it is he who asked Mahaprabhu, let me take all the sinful reactions of everyone and liberate everyone. And that was his prayer. And Srila Prabhupada pointed out that there was no tacit understanding in this, like you have to accept him or anything. He's just telling Mahaprabhu, just please, I'll take on everyone's sin. Let them all be liberated. Those people don't have to approach Vasudev Datta and ask him, you understand? It was an allusion to another conception. I'm just trying to be tactful about it. And it led Prabhupada to say how Vasudev Datta is millions of times more exalted. That's it. It's in his purport. You can read it. But we don't, to exalt one, we don't have to decry another, but suffice to say the glories of Vasudev Datta. So in Vasudev Datta is the elder brother, Mukunda is the younger brother. But Vasudev Datta, he is appreciating the devotion of his younger brother. And when Mahaprabhu asked the question about who's in the senior position, similar to Raghunandan Thakur and Mukunda Vaidya, he said, Vasudeva said, because Mukunda took shelter of your lotus feet first, I consider him to be in the superior position and possessed of superior devotion. And it's so sweet, these two brothers, and we're told in Krishna Lila, they are these two singers, Madhukanta and another. So they're the gopis, that's one side, but on the other side, just imagine, in Vrindavan, the ultimate reality, they're the two best singers there. So when we'll see throughout Mahaprabhu's pastimes, that Mukunda Datta, at different times, he's invoked, or was, to sing. When Mahaprabhu takes the position of Rukmini at the house of Chandrasekhar, begins with a song from Mukunda. He is always, throughout, at Advaitas, at different places, they'll always defer to Mukunda, and he will begin singing. And we can't imagine how beautiful that is. If we will see in one place, a reference that some particular rag was sung, it doesn't mean if we follow that tune, we'll experience that. This is divine song expressed from the heart of Mukunda, right? Which can move the Lord himself and his topmost devotees. And it's this Mukunda who was classmate of Nimai Pandit and Gadadhar Pandit. He's very good friends with Gadadhar Pandit. That should tell you something, right? I mean, everything does. But Radharani descended as Gadadhar Pandit. If Mukunda Datta is a dear friend, so much so that it is, and it's mentioned in Charitamritam that only Mukunda Datta and Vasudev Datta knew the true glories of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. They're also from Chattogram, which is located in modern-day Bangladesh. I think it's called Chittagong, but it's Chattogram in these days. So they knew about Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So they're all like same hometown. And then you have to think again, right? This is supposed to be the places that for various reasons were considered, inauspicious. The Ganga doesn't flow there. The Pandavas didn't visit it when they were in exile. There are different criteria that a place is considered less than stellar. I'll put it that way. But we see, and what does Mahaprabhu do? He sends like his greatest devotees to these places, the so-called Rara Desh. And that's thematically consistent with the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. It's going to be the magnanimous distribution of mercy. So in the place that seems the most wanting, Prema Nidhi, right? Not, Vidya Nidhi, ocean of Vidya, you'd have to qualify that, but Mahaprabhu just takes it to its ultimate expression. No, he's Prema Nidhi, he's an ocean of Krishna Prem. And it's Mahaprabhu himself who said, I now consider my life perfect that I'm having your darshan. And we're told, when they embraced, it was for 6 hours. A 6-hour embrace. Like how the loving exchange between the two. So Mukunda Datta knew the glories. And again, as Leela would have it, remember, Yogamaya and Baladev, casting, scripting, to always, and they're multidimensional. Certain things appear to be thematic, and shining the spotlight on devotion and the magnanimous distribution of mercy. But it's delightful how the dramatic tension comes about. And Yogamaya forgetfulness that allows them to meld into the roles that they're playing in a real and meaningful way, lest we think it's some sort of show or posing. when we watch a movie, we're taking it that the acting is of the highest quality and etc. We totally believe what's going on. And the Stanislavski method, he's saying the actors, they can have, if they do everything, follow his method, they'll have an epiphany where they've become that character. Still, it's an act in that case. That's why I mentioned to one of my friends recently who brought up Stanislavski. I said, I use that as an argument against Prakriti Sahajiyism, because ultimately it's an act. Right? But that idea of self-oblivion to the point of being totally present in that character, if it is ever achieved truly, from Krishna Lila to Gaur Lila, but how much delight along the way and from one position to another. So the reason I say this is Mukunda observing Gadadhar not yet taken Diksha and saying, do you want to meet a real Vaishnava? And Gadadhar, oh yes, of course. You know, what do we think? Sangsaresmen kanadopi satsanga sevadirninam. The Bhagavatam says, the treasure to get in life, sevadir means treasure, is satsang, the association of a genuine devotee of the Lord. That's the treasure that you can discover if you're fortunate in life, in existence. Right? Samsara means, you know, the cycle of samsara over and over. If you get this, you've got the treasure, the greatest fortune. So Gadadhar saying, of course, I would love to see the Vaishnava. And we're told, again, because, and as Leela would have it, the Ganga doesn't flow in Chatragram. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi is wealthy enough to maintain a place in Navadvip and will go periodically to Navadvip and there have the darshan of the Ganga. And remember, within this context, the Ganga is like liquid Krishna prem to those who have the eyes and the heart to see and feel. Right? Not just, you know, a holy river, which in fact it is, but to what degree? Right? And as we told in that, when we were attempting to glorify Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and we said that normally we conceive of the Ganga as emanating from the feet of the Lord, like in the case of Vamandev or Vishnu and Krishna by extension. He said, but now we are seeing those streams of Ganga pouring out of his eyes. That's incredible. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi is of such a nature. When he visits Navadvip and goes for Ganga Darshan, he cannot tolerate that people are using the Ganga for their, as an amenity, washing their clothes, their bodies, etc. This disturbs his heart. So we're told he would go out in the evening when no one is there and then kneel on the banks of the Ganga and respectfully take a few drops of water and sprinkle them on his head. Right. Understand that sort of reverence. So he's on one of his journeys, and Mukunda can understand he's coming and wants to introduce his classmate, good friend, Gadadhar Pandit, who's a very sweet boy, and he's perfect in every way, and charming, beautiful, intelligent, and known to be, with a pure devotional heart. Premasima, the heights of Krishna Prem. But Pundarik Vidyanidhi is concealing his exalted position. And he's showing the position of what would, in Bengali they would call abhushayi, means a materialist. Grand paraphernalia. He's carried on a palanquin. We're told the palanquin has mirrors where he can monitor his own beauty. His hair is oiled and curling. He's wearing silk clothes with silk cushions and pillows. He has a spittoon where, he's chewing betel nut, and also we're told a hookah. So he's like, and Mukunda goes, there's the Vaishnava. And Gadadhar Pandit, seeing Pundarik Vidyanidhi, is filled with apprehension. And as one would be, this appears to contradict everything that we would normally say about proper behavior, spiritual practices. So, but it's a more telling point that what is before you contradicts all spiritual stereotypes. Right? So it is objectionable from the external or objective point of view. Okay. So all the spiritual stereotypes canceled. Can you see through that to see the spiritual substance behind in the subjective realm? Right? Not unlike the pastimes of Krishna, and thematically consistent. Right? Then we can understand why Sukadev Goswami with such great caution the pastimes of Sri Krishna, Radharani and Brajagopis in the 10th canto, 9 cantos prerequisite in a sense, to bring you to that point where without heart pollution can hear Shraddhan Vito Anushanaya Dattavarnayedyak. It's about faith, the culture of faith. Right? So Gadadhar Pandit, full of apprehension, Mukunda seeing the look on Gadadhar's face, saying, oh, all right. And remember, he's the best singer. And he starts singing the following verse. It's from the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigam saya payaya dapya sadvi lebhe gatim datri uchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajema. So he's saying, this is Uddhava Vidura, I believe. He's saying, oh, aho, means, oh, Bhakti means Putana. Because there's Bakasura, Bhakti is Putana, Bhakti Bakanuja is their little brother Aghasura. So he's saying, Stanakalaku, that she, Putana Rakshasi, right, on the plea of being a beautiful milk-laden nurse, right, nursing the child since nurse, even deceived Yashoda and Rohini, who are there talking, and then say, oh, this beautiful girl, and the nurse, I can see Krishna. Yes, go on in, Didi. They're saying, oh, you know, these huge milk-laden breasts. She goes in, and there's baby Krishna, and we're told he can barely see. And she takes the baby in her arms, pushes the breast into his mouth. He starts sucking it, but the breast, Stanakalakutam, is anointed with kalakuta, poison. So on the plea of nursing the child, she has murderous intentions. And incidentally, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the sequence in Chaitanya Shikshamritam, the sequence of the appearance of the demons is significant in the progress of a sadhaka, the aspiring devotee. So the first one you have to deal with is false guru. Putana represents the false guru. Why? In the name of nourishing, right, delivering nectarine substance, there's some polluted underlying motive. Avaishnava mukodgirnam putam harikatam ritam Shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpo chistam yatapayo. Srila Sanatana Goswami Prabhu has, therefore, O Vaishnava, like Mukunda telling Gadadhar, the Vaishnava. O Vaishnava means not a Vaishnava, appearing like one. Mukodgirnam, that means to hear them. Putam harikatam ritam. Sravanam naiva kartavyam, but do not hear from them. Sarpo chistam yatapayo. Sarpa means snake, uchista. The remnants of a snake means that a snake can contaminate milk, can poison it. And for so many years I've heard this example, and in the last year there was an incident like this in Nepal, of a snake contaminating a milk supply and a baby getting poisoned and dying in the process. So he's saying the underlying motive poisons the Harikatha. Just as when Babaji Maharaj, Gorkishore Das Babaji, some professional reciter wanted to recite Bhagavatam before Babaji Maharaj, basically to add his name to his resume so he can show people, look, here are all the people who have heard me recite Bhagavatam. And he wanted to add the name of Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj to his list for this recitation business. Somehow Babaji Maharaj was forced to suffer through this. Right? And when it concluded, he said enigmatically, he said to his attendant, get some cow dung and cow urine and purify this place. And everyone's thinking, wait, wherever the Bhagavatam is spoken, it purifies the atmosphere, the speaker, the hearer, the inquirers, the very place it's recited. Why? Babaji Maharaj, you're telling us to get cow dung and cow urine to cleanse this place as if something polluted just occurred. But we just heard the Bhagavatam. And Babaji Maharaj said, you heard Bhagavatam? He said, all I heard was money, money, money. So someone could say, no, literally, we heard Bhagavatam. But the man of substance was not deceived by that. Now it's the inversion. The thing that appears to be spiritual is in fact not. And in the case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who appears to be mundane, is the inverse, rather, of the highest. So then what do we take from this? That we have to learn to acquaint ourselves with the substance, with spiritual substance. So Mukunda Datta, in quoting this sloka, is saying, so Putana Rakshasi, she approached Krishna with murderous intentions. He sucked the poison, sucked the milk from breast, and her pran, her life era. And what was the consequence? She was elevated to the position of a mother, right? Nurse, mother. Right? So his conclude, Kamba doalum sharanam brajema, saying, if this is how he treats his enemies, then who is the more merciful Lord? We can't even begin to conceive how he would reciprocate friendship. Where Vishwanath says, if even above this inimical approach, approaching with murderous intentions, she gets liberated. He said, then Shantarasa would have to get a superior result. And then Dasya is superior to that, Sakya is superior to that, Vatsalya is superior to that, Madhura, and we're thinking, I guess this liberation concept can go quite deep. Right? Muktir banyata rupam svaropena vivastiti. So, when he's quoting this verse, and I like to mention, as a sidebar, does anyone think Mukunda Datta doesn't know all those very high confidential things? That Pundarik Vidyanidhi does not know all the very high confidential things? Why is it that this verse, it's from the 3rd canto, talking about how merciful Krishna is. It's talking about Krishna's mercy, favorite topic of devotees. This example he is giving, it's not that he's searching for some deep, high, confidential thing that, no. We see those who have genuine substance, that's carefully guarded. They will show the greatest appreciation for the least aspect. Right? Radha Mukunda Parasambhava Gamra Bindu Nirmansano Pakarani Krita Deho Laksham Utunga Sofrida Vishesha Vishat Pagalbam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Lalita Saki showing the greatest magnitude of eagerness for the least aspect of seva. So here, it's this verse that triggers such an ecstatic reaction from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. That hearing this, he becomes overwhelmed thinking of how merciful Krishna is, and starts wailing, Kamba Dayalum Sharanam Brajema. Who is the more merciful Lord? And waves of ecstatic emotions he's inundated with waves of ecstatic emotion that is causing him to throw the hookah, the pillows. He's pulling his hair, tearing his clothes, and keeps wailing, Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Brajema. And he falls to the floor in an ecstatic trance for 6 to 9 hours. Right? So that at hearing the singing of Mukunda Datta, this is the reaction. And then Gadadhar Pandit, he's thinking, oh, I came to see the Vaishnava, and I did, but I committed the greatest offense because I took the highest Vaishnava to be a Bishai, a materialist. I looked at the external aspect and ignored the spiritual substance. What fate awaits me for this aparad, this offense? And I got just the opposite. Not only did I not appreciate the Vaishnava, but I offended him. What to do? And we're told, if you've committed some offense, that if you will take shelter of that Vaishnava as your guru, then all the offenses will be forgiven, like the parent to the child. So Gadadhar Pandit approaches Pundarik Vidyanidhi for initiation, and with Mahaprabhu's approval, because he would say, sometimes be heard by his devotees saying, Bap Pundarik, Bap Pundarik, meaning, Father Pundarik, where are you? Father Pundarik. And devotees, they were thinking like, Pundarikaksha, that's a name of Vishnu, and they were trying to figure out, what does this mean? But as he is, Radha Bhavadyuti Subalita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani, her calling out for her father means that in Krishna Lila, Pundarik Vidyanidhi is Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So Mahaprabhu was saying, it's natural that you should be the disciple of Premanidhi. So, arranged by Mukunda Datta. And Mukunda Datta also accompanied Mahaprabhu, we're told, after he took sannyas, Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekhar Acharya, Mukunda Datta, Mukunda. And it's yesterday was the Chiradoi festival of Panihati. And the glories of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And again, it is instructional. Because from one point of view, we should think like, why does Raghunath Das Goswami need to go through all of these things to achieve the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If we consider what is his position in Krishna Lila. But I think that makes it even more beautiful and relatable. And instructs all aspiring servitors. And we see in his case, again, it's this idea. See, if someone was totally renounced from the beginning, and then they become a monk, or it's not a surprise to anyone. But if someone possesses extreme opulence, and is affluent, and they have everything that you could want materially, that makes it more compelling. Still, just his desire alone was not sufficient, and that's also an important point to recognize. he wants to leave everything and go join with Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu was in Shantipur, we're told Raghunath Das went there, and at that time Mahaprabhu said, similar to what he told Rupa and Sanatan, he said, no, go back home and just pretend you're a materialist, basically. It's an odd instruction. But Mahaprabhu's divine will. But that's what he told him. No, you go back and it will come in time. So he's there, but really his heart isn't in it. You know, his heart is with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's trying to escape the shackles of family life and material attachment, and brought up by having so many relatives and everything. Remember, the Sanskrit word, Bengali word for wife, Stri, which means one who expands in connection with her. Then there's children, house, home, Kutamba Bharanena Ba. Sukadev, Prabhupada liked that sloka. Second canto, Sukadev. But Raghunath Das, so he's there. I mean, Mahaprabhu told him he's trying, but he can't contain his heart's desire to take exclusive shelter, Chaitanya Charan, the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And he's trying to escape in various ways, and they actually have guards monitoring him. Right? And particularly his mother and father are very concerned, and his mom particularly. And at one point, she suggests to her husband, she's saying, maybe if we just shackled him and then like a big chain to a pillar, he could like move around the house and do various things. And the father says, and Gurudev liked this section very much. He would sometimes sing it, and particularly remember in Govardhan, because of Raghunath Das Goswami's connection with Govardhan. What did he say? Indra Aiswarja Sama, Stri Apsara Sama. He said, he's got Aiswarja, wealth, like Indra. And remember, Indra means the king of heaven. They have names, but Indra means king. So the king of heaven. So he's got heavenly opulence. And Stri Apsara Sama. His Stri, his wife, is an Apsara. She's equal to an Apsara. Who are the Apsaras? In Indra's heavenly kingdom, they're like the supermodel courtesans beyond whatever we think we've seen in this world, heavenly. Right? So he's saying he's got equal opulence to Indra and an Apsara for a wife. He said, if that doesn't bind somebody, what good are shackles going to do? Which is something very beautiful to say, actually. It shows he's also in a role, because that's one of the best lines in this divine play, saying, if that won't bind him, and he said, what can you do to bind someone who's become a madman for the lotus feet of Chaitanya Dev? So even he knows, in a sense, in his heart, how this is going to play out. But we could say that their love and affection for Raghunath Das Goswami, that's everything. And if they will be heartbroken in separation from Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, how exalted they are, and in which plane do they dwell? Guru Maharaj would say sometimes, in separation, whether from Sri Guru or Vaishnava, Hari Guru Vaishnava, he said, by affection's force, will be pulled into that plane. You understand? So that what appears, again, to be a sort of mundane attachment, really such a divine son. But they're guarding, trying to prevent his escape, and we're told that one evening, Yarunandanacharya, who was, so I think, in his Diksha from Advaita, but also Guru connection with Vasudev Dutt. He's their family guru. So he's the family guru of Raghunath Das Goswami and their family. And he comes to Raghunath late one night and he said, you know, the pujari is abandoning his seva. Right? So could you go talk to him? And to have this conversation, they had gone outside and Raghunath is noticing like there's some, I'm in like a blind spot to the guards and everyone, and then they go a little bit further and Raghunath Das tells him, look, why don't you just go home and I'll take care of this. I'll convince him. Don't trouble yourself, don't be in anxiety, go home. So Yarunandanacharya goes home, and then Raghunath Das just keeps going and realizing that he's an opportunity has opened to him. And then he also realizes, like so many times before, he went main route or ways that they would think to look for him. This time he went in the opposite direction and then starts circling around to throw them off. And it's around this time also Shivananda Sen's taking that group of 200 Maha Bhagavatas from Navadvip toward Puri. And we're told it takes Raghunath Das, I think, 12 days to go there. It's hundreds of kilometers, and so maybe 3 times along the way he is eating or taking something. Someone's letting him stay in a goshala and a cow shed, a little bit of milk here and a little something here, but like a madman, right? Gauranga, Hridaya, Madati, it's in his Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha. He uses that, you know, his heart like racing madly toward Mahaprabhu. Such magnitude of heart. And when he, but I was going to speak something about Panihati. So up to that, before that, how did this come? Why did it work? This is the way I'll come back. Why did it work this time and not so many times before? Because he heard that Nityananda Prabhu is in Panihati. And so with his associates, as Nityananda Prabhu says, I'm basically a cowherd and I like to travel with a large group of cowherd boys. That's his default position. And his delightful, eccentric followers. So Raghunath Das hears, he had heard, he is there, and he's going for his darshan and to get his mercy. And when one of Nityananda Prabhu is sitting beneath a tree, it says, looking like 1,000,000 suns, that type of effulgence. Who can see that, can appreciate that? who can see the million-sunned effulgence and yet still see the personality. Those who have the eyes to see, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. So, when the devotee says, oh, there's Raghunath Das in a distance giving his dandavats, and Nityananda Prabhu says, thief! Bring that thief over here! And they're pushing Raghunath forward. And Nityananda Prabhu saying, you thief! You keep hiding from me! And they bring Raghunath forward, and then Nityananda Prabhu puts his lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami. And Nityananda Prabhu says, today I shall punish you for all this thieving. And Raghunath Das Goswami, what's the punishment? And he said, you see all my friends here? You have to feed all of us. Me and my friends. My cowherd friends, like that group that picnics on the bank of the Jamuna, they're all here again. How beautiful is that? We can take it, it's the same, similar group, same, but maybe a little different. And from Krishna Lila, now they've all appeared in Gaur Lila. And they're in Panihati with Nityananda Prabhu, whose punishment, remember, his punishment is the ultimate reward. Right? And what is it? That you'll have to feed me and my friends. And with what? Chira and doi, flat rice, and yogurt. And so Raghunath Das makes all these arrangements, and some flat rice, the chira, they're soaking in condensed milk, others in milk, some in water, they're mixing with yogurt and bananas and little edible camphor and some ghee, some this, some that. And what is it like? It's like what Krishna and the cowherd boys eat on the banks of the Jamuna. Because they think, why this? Why specifically this? Why not something else? Because this is what they eat. It's so sweet. Right? And what is the verse? When Brahma, after his misread of the Aprakrita Leela of Krishna, Muhyanti Yatsuraya, announced in the first sloka of the Bhagavatam. Even the gods will be bewildered in trying to understand this. So listen carefully and hear it from Krishna-loving devotees. So Brahma said, No mi jate abra bapuse taridambaraya. It's very hard to see you properly. Why? Abra bapu. Because you're like a dark cloud. Ganasham, Shama Sundar. It's like he's saying, like there's a reason why I couldn't see you. Because you're not easy to see. Taridambaraya. But when you're dressed with your lightning yellow dhoti, then that contrast, then I see you. And Guru Maharaj is saying that meaning when you're dressed in your potency, Srimati Radharani and her extensions, then it becomes clear who you are. Then we can see you. Gunjavatangsa paripichala sannukaya. And you like to wear this gunja mala, which later Mahaprabhu will give to Raghunath Das in the worship of his Govardhan Shila. Paripichala sannukaya. And you have the peacock feather Like you think, there should be like a jeweled crown, or you think, what is Krishna? He has a peacock feather. Vanyasraje kalavavetra vishanu venu. Yeah. And you're wearing a forest garland. Kala Vanyasraje kalavavetra vishanu. And in your left hand, you're holding this, what they're taking at Panihati, this little preparation. And you have a stick, you know, you have your flute on one side of your belt and a little stick for herding cows on the other side. Shriye Mrupade Pashupangajaya. So, all of this chira and doi and various methods is prepared, and all the devotees, the associates of Nityananda Prabhu are there. Many other Brahmins have got the news. They've come, and we're told in some instances where they've run out of the cure, when they're soaking it like in Ganga, and there's guys like sitting in the Ganga water with them. And vendors have come, so there's so many pots, the other things, and Nityananda Prabhu, by his love and affection, invokes the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not everyone can see that, like Antaranga Bhaktas can see, but there's Nityananda Prabhu, and then sitting next to him is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But all for Raghunath Das. How great is Raghunath Das Goswami? As we will learn, Mahaprabhu, when he's asking Nityananda Prabhu for grace, Nityananda Prabhu brings Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's seeking the shelter of his holy lotus feet. That's the power. When Nityananda Prabhu's dancing is inconceivably beautiful and sweet. And we're told, so much so that Mahaprabhu cannot resist observing the dancing of Nityananda. It gives so much joy to him. So he comes, and then we're told, what does Nityananda Prabhu do? He starts taking from people's pots and putting into the mouth of Mahaprabhu. And they're laughing in delight. When do people do that in this world? We could say at the height of the intoxication of romantic love. Right? They're doing these kind of things. Here, Nityananda, then Mahaprabhu reciprocating. They're both feeding each other, and they're taking from devotees and placing in one another's mouths, delighting in this, and then we're told Raghava Pandit comes, who is the most expert cook. We're told, to what degree is the cooking in Raghava Pandit's house, with the sister Damayanti saying, Radharani herself appears in his house to cook. And if we listen to the song, Bhakti Vinod, who takes the remnants of Sri Krishna to Radharani? Danishta. He's Danishta in Krishna Lila. So, anyway, so Raghunath Das Goswami, after this divine event and the appearance of Mahaprabhu and getting the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he's praying with the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu on his head, that please give me shelter at the lotus feet of Sri. Only by your mercy is it possible. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar. And then Uttam Adam Kichu Vichar or Navichar. It does not consider who's high, low, fallen, exalted. Why? Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar. Because he's intoxicated with Krishna Prem. So Nityananda Prabhu is telling all the devotees, please give your mercy to Raghunath Das. Right? Even when he's saying, all you Vaishnavas, you can, if you'll give your mercy, his heart's inner desire will be fulfilled. When we say, Abhishta Puran, and Hari Harai. So, and he's saying to Raghunath Das, Mahaprabhu himself came here to give you his mercy. So now, when you return home, things are going to be different this time. So, that Raghunath Das finally achieved the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And what are we told? That Mahaprabhu, there's different Raghunaths, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Vaidya, and he says, I'm putting you in the care of Swarup Damodar, so you will be known as Swarupa Raghu, Swarup's Raghu. And he's becomes Swarup Damodar's assistant. But we're told he shows Parama Vairagya. From all this wealth, Raghunath Das Goswami starts begging outside the Jagannath temple for his sustenance. When he feels that is not unlike a prostitute, we're told he's what the food that is for cows, what even they won't eat. He's going through that and taking something from there. And what I want to say is, when we hear of the type of renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami, which is unexcelled, it's incomparable, right? Like Tyaktva Turnamashesha Mandalapati Shrinim Sadatu Chavat Bhutvadina Ganeshako Karunaya Kopina Kantasrito Gopi Baba Rasamritabdila Hari Kalola Magno Muhur Bande Rupa Sanatano Ragoyago Srideva Palago. It's not, we should not think he engaged in activities of renunciation and then he achieved something from that. But rather, the depth of his internal culture was such and so deeply nourishing spiritually that he had little necessity for any, sustenance from the external environment. It's the inverse. Not that by sensory deprivation he achieved some spiritual realization. No, it's on account of what was in his heart that there was so little need for anything external. But as this news spread, because at one point his father, when they realized they'd lost him, that he sent men with money to take care of them, and for a while, a couple of years, Raghunath was having festival like on a certain day, inviting Mahaprabhu, and then he thought, I don't think Mahaprabhu really likes us. I'm taking money from materialists, and it's kind of awkward. And then he went to the begging, to the chatri, and then taking just that little part of what was edible from what the cows would not eat. And Swarup Damodar came by one day and observed us and took some of it, and he said, You're eating such nectarine things and not inviting us? And then the news went back to Mahaprabhu from Govinda, like, Srip Damodar visited Raghunath Das and this. Then Mahaprabhu himself came, said, give me some of that. I want some of that prasad. And he took some and said, I've never tasted such a nectarine substance. And then he went to take more, and Srip Damodar grabbed it, and he said, my lord, this is not fit for you. You know. But that Raghunath Das, after some time, he, like devotees, sometimes they're put under the care of someone and then they come to the room and like, but I really wanted to get some personal instructions from you. Yeah. So he approached Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu said, yes, I can give you some instruction, you know. Balona kaibe, balona puri. Don't eat luxuriously, don't dress nicely, different things. You know, gramya kata, don't gossip, don't waste your time on ordinary subject matters. And in your heart of hearts, your swarup, worship Radha and Krishna. He's not talking about anything mental in the ordinary sense. But he said, but the reason I put you under the care of Srup Damodar is what I don't know, he knows fully. And you're like, how is that possible? But if we take it that Srup Damodar is Lalita Saki, right? Radharani's right hand, personal attendant, told when Krishna's feeling separation from Radharani, Subal, and he says, assuages the anguish in his heart. Right? And Ramananda takes a similar position in Gaur Leela. And when Radharani feeling separation from Krishna, Lalita Saki there to either to bring some relief or to augment, amplify certain sentiments. So we see, as in the Brahma Gita, that sometimes Srimati Radharani is so lost in divine madness that when she comes out, she doesn't recall what she said or expressed, but by her side the entire time, maintaining her composure, Lalita Saki. So she may have to ask her, what did I say? Did I say anything strange or peculiar? Did I exhibit some odd behavior? You know, supremely divine. Right? And in Gaur Leela, so Mahaprabhu, this is in Krishna position, is terra incognito, the heart of Srimati Radharani. Right? Anyara, before, in Ratyantra, he will say, before joining, Anyara hridayaman moraman brindavan. For others, their heart and mind are the same. For me, my heart and Vrindavan are identical. In that sense, Vrindavan is a construct of the heart of Srimati Radharani. Jai Jagannath. So, he's saying what he knows, you know, fully, more than me. What I don't know, he knows fully. It's because Lalita Saki, Srup Damodar. And really, what Mahaprabhu was telling him, as the assistant of Srup Damodar, you'll get everything, and you'll participate in this in a way that I need you to. And it ends up becoming, in one sense, the most valuable contribution and treasure that's left behind in the form of Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, which is based on what? The notes, the sutra-like notes of Srup Damodar, and the more expanded notes of Raghunath Das Goswami, who, how does this take place? Because we say, well, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is the author. after the departure of Swarup Damodar and Mahaprabhu, we can understand. How will Raghunath Das respond to that? Saying, I have no longer any reason to live. Right? It's expressed in his Vilapakusa Manjali. It says, Ashavare amrita sindhu mayi katanchit kalo mayati gamita kilasam pratamhi tvam chet kripam mayi vidasasi naiva kimme prane brajena chabororu bakarinapi. Ashavare amrita sindhu. He's saying, this asha, this aspiration I have to serve you, who? Srimati Radharani. Guru said, interestingly, this is a direct prayer to Radharani. Radha Dasam. He will say, Das Goswami is the greatest student in the Rupanuga line, because he says clearly, emphatically, that the prayojan, our ultimate concern is with Radha Dasyam, the service of the holy lotus feet of Radharani. And that brings us in connection with Krishna. So here, he's saying, and it's after the absence of Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar, after disappearance, he's saying, I maintain my existence with this aspiration that I will achieve the service of your holy lotus feet. Without that, what is the value of my life? And what is more valuable than my life? Vrindavan. And what is more valuable than Vrindavan? Krishna. Guru said, Krishna is a dreadful thing without you. That's why it said, Bakari, not Bakari means, like we said, Baki, the killer of Bakasura. So, in other words, only at her side is the sweet absolute in its fullest expression of divine sweetness. Think of that. Only at the right side of Radharani is Krishna fully himself, Swayam Bhagavan. It's the full expression, highest quality and quantity, Rasaraj Krishna at her side. So, and sidebar, footnote, that Srila Saraswati Thakur, Guru said, he would meticulously suppress any ecstatic feelings. If a tear came, wiping away, not to mislead neophytes. But Guru said, but this verse, and again, think about it. Could be so many others. This verse, which is about a service aspiration, a particular level of exclusive dedication to the service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, the absence of which, and reciting this verse privately in his inner group of disciples, Saraswati Thakur, the ultimate personification of gravitas, as we've seen. Guru said he would be wailing, crying uncontrollably in reciting this particular verse of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. So it's to Raghunath Das that Mahaprabhu gave the Govardhan Shila, his own, that he would keep on his heart, put on his head, on his eyes. He would wear the Gunjamala necklace. He would smell the Govardhan Shila and say, oh, it is Krishna Kalevar. It's the body of Krishna. When Mahaprabhu would take Giriraj Govardhan, he would smell the intoxicating, inconceivably intoxicating aroma of the divine form of Sri Krishna. That Govardhan Shila he gave to Raghunath Das Goswami with the Gunjamala and told him, oh, you'll take some water and Tulsi Manjaris. Right. And said, and what Das Goswami achieved in this, doing the perfect puja with the 16 different types of... So, no comparison. This was deep Krishna Prem of Das Goswami. And then Srup Damodar telling him after a while that he should offer kaja, those sweets available in Puri, and sandesh. And I recall Guru Maharaj saying, when Madan Mohan is telling Sanatan that he should add a little salt to those chapati balls, and then later a little ghee, and he said, really, Sanatan saying, or you want to feed me? And I'm saying, Srup Damodar telling Raghunath Das, who's Parama Vairagya personified, telling like, you should get these sweets from Jagannath and some sandesh and offer them to Giriraj. And his prayer, Nija Nikata Nivasa Dehi Govardhanatvam. He's saying, I seek just to be near you, Giriraj Govardhan. And he thought, since Mahaprabhu gave me Govardhan and the Gunjamala, that means that my place is Govardhan with the aspiration for the service of Radha Dasyam. That's the significance of these two things. And although it was heartbreaking and made him suicidal, the departure of Srup Damodar and Mahaprabhu, and he thought, I'm going to have the darshan of Govardhan and Radha Kunda and then throw myself. Because I can't live without Mahaprabhu and Srup Damodar. When he gets there, he says, oh, I see they're present in Rupa and Sanatan. And we're told in his final days, they're crawling on his hands and knees with his tears pouring out of his lotus eyes, drenching his clothing. Muke Radha Radha Bole Beshe Nayanera Jale Radhe Radhe. That comes from Raghunath Das Goswami. That's why we do not imitate or casually. That's from the lotus mouth of Das Goswami, crawling on his hands and knees there. It says his vesh, the tears are soaking his clothes, and he's taking the name of Srimati Radharani. And there, that Das Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami comes in connection with him, and the full wealth of the sutra-like notes of Srup Damodar, who witnessed these inconceivable pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, plunging the depths of Radha Bhav, 24/7 in the company of Srup Damodar and Ramananda behind closed doors in the Gangbhira, and the expanded notes of his assistant Raghunath Das Goswami, that was transferred to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who, with their approval and of all the Vaishnavas and Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan, moved his divine hand to deliver the greatest literature, in Guru Maharaj's word, the greatest literature to have ever seen the light of day in all time, all space, and all creations. Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. Hare Krishna. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Asatara Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sabarikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Gandharika Giridhari Ki Jai. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Athira Baba Mukunda Datta and Sridhar Pandit Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Sri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Panihati Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Shri Gupta Govardhan ki jai. Om Vishnupad Vishva Varenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Vimala Vadut Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai. Jai Sri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi ki jai. Sri Man Paramananda Prabhu ki jai. Seva Vrinda ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Jagannath Snan Yatra ki jai.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
This bath will cause Jagannath to have to go into seclusion for some time. And that would, of course, break the hearts of the devotees, and our focus will be shifting towards Rath Yatra. Hare Krishna.
Dandavats Maharaj from Malika Didi, Suchitra Didi, Ashapurna Didi, Gokula Taruni Didi, Abkhazia.
Yes.
Bhakti Lata Didi, Moscow. Nadia Barandich, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, Philippines. Tananjay Prabhu, Russia. Sahadevi Didi, Praneshwari Didi, Tulsi Das Prabhu, Italy. Tungavidya Didi, Kshama Buddhi, Dandavats.
Of course.
Sundar Gopal, my Dandavat
Sundar Gopal from where?
Brazil. My Dandavat Pranams Maharaj Sundar Gopal from Brazil.
Oh, yes.
Leela Sundar Prabhu, Ukraine. Ajita Krishna Prabhu, Russia. Lavangalata Didi, Chiang Mai. From Kuladri Prabhu, thank you Maharaj. Lift one's mind and attempt to reach the heart. Anandamai Didi, Portugal. Portugal.
Yay! Portugal, all right.
And Purushottam Das, Salt Lake City. Dandavats to Srila Goswami Maharaj and those making this broadcast possible. Nectar in the driest of deserts.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa Triviyasta Kripasindu Revacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.